innovative content, global audience.
People and politics, reaching you now from the studio of SRTV Abuja. My name is SHIMA IKYAATOR. On this segment of politics, we shall be taking a look at post-elections, pre-inauguration and other political matters arising in Nigeria. Let's first of all take a background before we begin. The 2023 elections have come and gone. We now have a president-elect. Since the return of democracy in Nigeria in 1999, Nigerians were stirred up for the 2023 elections due to the assent of the Electoral Act 2022 by the president. The masses were resolute to choose their leaders and shunned personal interests for national interest, as they had high hopes that their votes will count. Unfortunately, the first segment of the elections, the Presidential/National Assembly elections held on February 25, 2023, it left Nigerians upset with numerous complaints of electoral malpractices, ranging from voter intimidation, ballot box snatching, result sheet doctoring, and a whole lot of other offenses. Going by the results announcement by the chairman of the commission, Mahmood Yakubu, the candidate of All Progressive Congress, APC, Bola Tinubu, emerged as the winner, while Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party and Peter Obi of the Labour Party emerged second and third, respectively. Tinubu scored less than 25% of votes in the Federal Capital Territory, which is emphasized in the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Now, a lot of issues have come up since the election and in preparation to the swearing in of the president-elect. Issues such as the biased role of INEC as perceived by the masses, the provision for 25% of votes in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, electoral malpractices such as voter intimidation, ballot box snatching, votes buying and results falsification, accusations of previous drug trafficking activities by the president-elect, accusations and counter-accusations of each other about the reputations and personality of the president-elect, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the second runner-up, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Nigeria's national image and reputation in the week of post-elections, and issues raised. Now we are going to discuss these issues step by step to take a look at what politics in Nigeria entails. They say man is a political animal by nature, and so every day of man's life has to do with politics. And in Nigeria, we are not accepted because we are a political people. The hope and the aspirations of young Nigerians is that we have leadership, and leadership has been our problem. So today we'll be analyzing what makes Nigeria different, what makes our politics different. But first, there are certain questions that we should ask ourselves as politicians. Firstly, how would you say INEC has performed in these elections compared to previous years? And have they succeeded in taking us backward, considering the political apathy recorded during the governorship and state house of assembly elections? What is your take on the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended that says a candidate must win 25% of votes in the Federal Capital Territory and its implications for the president-elect? Do you think the accusations and counter-accusations by the president-elect and second runner-up Atiku Abubakar portrays the caliber of leaders Nigeria as a country should avoid, as it portrays us as a nation in very bad light to the international community? What are your expectations after May 29? What you anticipate of the political environment in Nigeria matters. Now, these issues have come up, and Nigerians are going about their daily duties, but the issues are very, very sensitive because they are a backdrop to what political leadership in Nigeria will be. Today, we heard that the president of Nigeria, Muhammad Buhari, said that the APC has won the elections, but the Labour Party and the PDP lost the elections because they were too confident. Now, the president would say that both parties that contested an election were too confident. Now, it's not about the party. The masses were the ones that went out to vote. They trusted the electoral system because the electoral system is what gives the ordinary man hope. But from what we could see during the elections, we could see that there were many cases of bias. There were many cases of voter intimidation. There were many cases of instances where ballot papers were snatched and people were intimidated and pushed away from the voting areas, all in favor of particular parties. For the parties in question, we cannot say and we cannot mention because we do not know for say, till the court, which is the common hope of the ordinary man. And that brings us to the Supreme Court of Nigeria. The Supreme Court of Nigeria is a common hope for an ordinary man. Now, the people are beginning to lose faith in the justice system in Nigeria. Now, when something happens or when someone gets to do wrong by you, all he or she can say is that you should go to the courts. Just like you have heard the various members of the various political parties say that we should go to court. But what is the hope of the common man to get justice in Nigeria? Because over time, we have seen that justice has not been served as it should be served in Nigeria. We have seen where strange judgments were passed by the Supreme Court. Now, all the other courts had erred at different points in time, but the last hope of the common man or the common Nigerian was the Supreme Court, where the final judgment came in, and there were men of timber and caliber, men who could keep their words and who could insist that the right thing be done. But you would agree with me, my viewers, that in today's world and in today's justice system, there are certain judgments that have been passed in the Supreme Court that have made the common man lose trust in the justice system of Nigeria. Is it going to be the same thing, the 2023 elections, or are we supposed to hope and believe in the justice system of Nigeria? These are the issues that we'll be discussing in the course of our program today. But first, let us look at the first issue that came up. How would you say INEC has performed in these elections compared to previous years, and have they succeeded in taking us backward, considering the political structure of Nigeria? If you agree with me, the previous elections we've had in Nigeria give us hope. With the card reader we had used, elections were to a large extent quite fair, and we thought that yes, with the work on the next elections will make the elections better, and with the 2022 assent bill that was signed by the president, the people breathed a new sigh of relief, and they knew and they thought that elections this time around were not going to be business as usual. But on the contrary, we were amazed when we went in to cast our votes and we stayed behind amidst the rain, the sunshine, and the heat. We stayed back, and Nigerians wanted to see their votes count. But what happened? We had instances where the elections for the National Assembly and elections for the House of Rep were immediately uploaded on the Beavers machine without hitches of network. But when it came to that of presidential elections, we had issues. But we don't know whether the issues were real or they were manipulated or human manipulated. We cannot tell. But that gave us a big strike, and people began to lose hope in the electoral process. Now, during the gubernatorial elections, we could see the political apathy that enshrined, the political apathy that happened, told us that Nigerians had lost hope just within a very short period of the presidential elections and the gubernatorial elections. Nigerians had lost hope. They did not go out to vote in their numbers as they did during the presidential elections because they believed that something had gone wrong. Their hope was dashed, and as such, they did not go out. So you don't say, in all honesty, that INEC has done better than they did during the last elections, or they have taken Nigerians back. And if they have, what is the hope for political participation by the youths who believe in Nigeria? What is the hope for political participation by those who have made up their mind to leave Nigeria? They have believed that Nigeria is a failed system. But there is this glimmer of hope that they always have. And whenever the elections come up, they come out to vote, believing that just one day their votes will count and the system will work. Now, we can also look at the take on the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended that says a candidate must win 25% of votes in the Federal Capital Territory and its implications for the president-elect. This is where the court comes in. The onus is on the court to interpret the provisions of the Electoral Act and the provisions of the Constitution. 25%, it says to win 25% and 25%, not all. But that is left for the courts to decide. And we believe that the court is the last hope for the common man, and it will give us justice and interpret the Constitution as it should apply. Now, we should also look at the accusations and counter-accusations by the president-elect and the second runner-up, Atiku Abubakar. Now, it reminds me of a song by Fela, where he said, in our local palace. He says, you be thief, and no be thief, you be armed robber, no be armed robber. And the accusations keep going to and fro, to and fro, and to and fro. And it gives a bad image for a country like Nigeria that already has a battered image internationally. Now, the people are looking at the leaders or the leaders to be fighting themselves and counter-accusing themselves, calling themselves drug traffickers and all that. And it's going to stain a bad image on the Nigerian personality because Nigeria is battered already. Nigeria has gone through a lot. We need to redeem the image, the national image of Nigeria. But with leaders like this, how are we going to redeem the image of Nigeria? That is also something that we should think about. And finally, what are the expectations of Nigerians after May 29? Elections have come and gone. Nigerians, some were disappointed, some were happy. But there is this euphoria around us. We are expecting the best. We are hoping for the best. We are believing that the best will take its course. But as Nigerians, we say we always find a place to hold on to hope. Nigerians don't give up. Nigerians are strong and they are resilient people, and they keep believing in the process. They know that sometime in the future, Nigeria will become as great as every youth believes and hopes that Nigeria will be great. Now, if you look at the news today, you'd discover that the political system is heating up. It's heating up slowly and slowly because the president-elect wants to have a national assembly that is workable. And there are counter-accusations that the president wants to interfere, the president-elect, I beg your pardon, wants to interfere in the selection process of the National Assembly. And we know that the National Assembly has its own body and it carries out its elections, as the case may be, in the chambers. And you have the Speaker of the House of Assembly, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and you have the Senate President. Now, with the key officials, the president-elect can work properly. And I want to believe that that is why the president-elect has interests in the selection process of who the next president of the Senate will be and who the next House of Rep leader will be. Now, you will not take away from the president-elect the fact that every human being wants to get the best working team, and by way of lobbying, maybe he feels that there are certain personalities that he could work better with. That is why there are insinuations that he is trying to interfere in the electoral process of the National Assembly and the Senate President in particular. And then again, there is this feeling that from certain corners pertaining the leadership that will come forward as Tinubu steps on May 29th after inauguration. Now, whatever happens after that, Nigerians remain hopeful. Whatever happens after that, Nigerians believe that the president-elect will lead them because the Supreme Court will determine after he has been inaugurated. But the present president of Nigeria, Buhari, has assured Nigerians that the process of handover will go smoothly, and everything that he is supposed to do as a president will be done before he returns to his home in Dara, giving the president-elect enough ample opportunity to perform his duties very well. Now, these issues, among several other issues that have been pending in Nigeria, is what we'll be discussing today. Later on in the show, we shall have a guest, Mr. Tom. He's a political analyst, and he will be joining us later on after the break. And he will be giving his insights on these issues that have been raised. And being someone who has been in the political system, will have multiple views and our views in the studio. And together we'll see and hope that Nigeria becomes a better place. But at this juncture, we will take a break. And when we return from the break, we will discuss other issues as they arise.
Ladies, are you ready to shine? Here's a golden opportunity for you to show the world the queen in you, as the second edition of Face of SRTV Ladies Edition is about to begin. What are you waiting for? Register online with just 500 naira and stand a chance of winning a cash prize of 100,000 naira and the deal of becoming our ambassador. There will also be consolation prizes for second and third place winners. To register, kindly pay the registration fee and send your name, age, picture, and state of origin to this number 0906 895 2170. For more inquiries, please call 0907 400 7816. Powered by SRTV London, the face of SRTV.
RTV London, in partnership with NTA TV Enterprise, present the maiden edition of the Nigerian Week in the capital of the world, London. A wonderful blend of entertainment, business, and networking, displaying a wide range of arts, national cash crops, financial products and services, and real estate. For huge extra opportunity in diaspora, look no further. The 36 states of the Federation, the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, Trade and Investment, the Nigerian Film Corporation, and host of others will be in attendance. Date 15 to 21st of May 2023. Venue Lighthouse, Camberwell, Southeast London. For details, log on www.superiorradiotelevision.com/Nigerian Week or call +447 549 513 619 or +234 814 358 2856. The Nigerian Week, celebrating the best of Nigeria from the rest.
Ladies, are you ready to shine? Here's a golden opportunity for you to show the world the queen in you, as the second edition of Face of SRTV Ladies Edition is about to begin. What are you waiting for? Register online with just 500 naira and stand a chance of winning a cash prize of 100,000 naira and the deal of becoming our ambassador. There will also be consolation prizes for second and third place winners. To register, kindly pay the registration fee and send your name, age, picture, and state of origin to this number 0906 895 2170. For more inquiries, please call 0907 400 7816. Powered by SRTV London, the face of SRTV, who takes the crown.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us at the studio of SRTV, my name is SHIMA IKYAATOR and we're on Politics Today. Now, I did promise you that when we return from the show, we should have a caller in our midst, and he's going to be discussing issues that we have been discussing pertaining politics. And the major issues that we have been discussing range from the issues of pre-election, the swearing in, and what hope Nigerians have for what Nigeria will become in the nearest future. And with us in the studio, via call, we have Mr. Tom taking this. Sir, can you hear me? You're welcome to SRTV.
Hi, it's my pleasure. I can hear you clearly.
Okay, it's a pleasure to have you join us. We are discussing issues that are political. You know, man by nature is a political animal, and every day of our life has to do with politics. So we are discussing issues that are political in Nigeria and as they have been arising. And we'd like to have your views on some of these issues. I don't know if you're there?
Yeah.
Okay, so first we want to have your view. How would you say INEC has performed in these elections compared to previous years, or have they succeeded in taking us backward, considering the political apathy recorded during the governorship and State House of Assembly elections? We'd like to have your view on that.
Okay, so it's my pleasure to be on this program. Every listener out there would, or viewer would agree that the 2023 elections were full of expectations. INEC announced that I think about 93 million eligible voters were registered to vote, and it was like the highest, I think the highest registration level in Nigeria since our political history. I mean, compared to 2019, when the number of registered voters was just about, I think, 84 thereabout million. So it spiked the interest in politics due to the large number of young Nigerians who registered to participate in the electoral process. You know, that's the group that has actually been accused of electoral or political apathy.
Yes.
And so the INEX data, I think, I may not be quoting statistics exactly, but I think 39% of the voters were of the 18 to 35 ages. So that's actually a large age group registering for election. So it was also the most expensive election in Nigeria's history.
Okay.
If my memory is not failing me, it was expensive. So I think about 300 billion was used for this election, and the reason was a technology that was supposed to be deployed for the election. That's beavers, and then what we were calling IREF. Unfortunately, INEC failed to make use of what they call the IREF, and this is the major disappointment of Nigerians. So compared to previous elections, I think the present INEC chairman has taken us backwards, has taken us to the pre-Jega era.
Taking us that backwards?
Notice that every election in Nigeria since Jega came was an improvement over the next.
That's true.
The next others. So, but the present INEC chairman has taken us back to the pre-Jega era. So I feel that Nigerians are disappointed, especially that IREF and beavers were not used as they were assured. So that's the extent of the disappointment, and that's why I think it's a major reason why I've not read the petitions, but the major reasons why the PDP flag bearer Atiku and then the Labour Party flag bearer are heading to the courts.
Okay.
So that's my perception of the election. So that's a disappointment. People felt that this was going to be the best from what we have been having so far, but they're disappointed really.
Yes,
However, a winner has emerged, and I think there's need to move forward.
Okay, I think I agree with you to a large extent, and that is the general view that the expectations from Nigerians pertaining the use of the machines that have been acquired was partly why Nigerians felt disappointed. And again, we'd like to also take your view. What is your take on the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as amended that says a candidate must win 25% of votes in the Federal Capital Territory, and its implication for the president-elect? Because that has become an issue, because the Constitution says you must win all the other requirements and 25% of votes in the Federal Capital Territory. But you can see that the president-elect did not win the Federal Capital Territory, and it's become an issue, but it's left for the court to interpret though. But we would like to have your view on that.
Okay, so I'm not a lawyer, but legal things are quite dicey.
That's true.
So I think I'll leave that for the court to decide. But what is the level of confidence of Nigerians in the judiciary?
That's another
should
issue.
worry us. I mean, a common man now feels that the judiciary or justice for self. So that is what should worry us. But as to whether the 25% votes in FCT, it's a debate for lawyers. I've watched a couple of debates on that where people are saying, and means that in addition to the others, the person who is supposed to win should have won 25% in Abuja. But I must be honest with you that I'm a political scientist, and that's a story for, or an issue for lawyers. And I'm sure by the time they go to court, they should be able to prove, both parties should prove beyond doubt that that's an issue or it's not an issue. So, but generally, Nigerians are watching, but from my understanding, there seems to be that lack of confidence in the judiciary, especially when somebody perceives injustice and the other person is saying go to court. I mean, somebody is confident enough to say go to court. So one begins to doubt that level of confidence. Why are you so confident about me going to court? Why don't you do the right thing in my thinking? And then you're, as an electoral umpire, you're saying, I've announced to go to court. It's not the duty of INEC to tell people to go to court. We should have confidence in the judiciary enough about our elections that even when parties come up to point accusing fingers, INEC should say, we did the right thing. They shouldn't even refer people to.
Okay,
so,
sir.
in a nutshell, as regards to 5% in the FCT, it's for the court to decide and any lawyers to argue it.
Okay, so it reminds me of a saying that says when you are quick to tell someone to go to court, it means your father could be the chief judge. But that is, like you said, it's an issue for the lawyers to decide. You are just a political analyst. Okay, we also like to take your view. There's this accusations and counter-accusations by the president-elect and the second runner-up, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as regards drug trafficking. And you could see the social media is awash with pictures of supposed judgments from the United States of America where the president-elect had issues. And you've seen where the president-elect has accused Atiku of also being involved in drug trafficking. Now, for people who are vying for leadership positions in Nigeria and taking cognizance of the fact that Nigerians have done the campaign for drug abuse down to the primary, to the secondary, and to the least level, what implications do you think this will have on a nation, when, especially the nation where the youths are being exposed to such things? What is the implication on Nigeria as the international community and down home where the youths are?
Well, already we don't have a good image. Nigerians generally have done good image. In the globally, but people are also doing very well in the global space. Having said that, if there's a dent on someone's character and somebody can prove it, the courts are there to also decide. And that is why I said having confidence in the judiciary is very key in the political space. But the hearsays or the kind of things we hear about our political aspirants make people to begin to wonder whether that's the best that Nigeria can offer. I tell you, Nigerians were tired or are tired with the kind of people that actually aspired for the presidential elections. The last one was said, and that's why there was so much followership for certain candidates. Because these are people appearing over and over. They have been there since we can remember. Since most of the young people were kids. So there have been issues of allegations of drug abuse, whether the U.S. courts have frozen assets or seized assets and all that. And then others are accused of corruption and all that. It doesn't give us a very good image. It shows that that's the best we can present for political office. So why we wait for these things to be proven in courts for anybody who's alleging? Generally, we cannot vouch to say these things are not really, they're just mere hearsays. We can't say that, but that would be morality until they are proven in courts of law.
Yes, the court.
One has to be careful about what he or she is saying. This must be proven in courts of law.
Yes. The
people must be convicted or the courts must rule. So it's difficult to say, but if you're talking morality, if you're talking generally, it's not a very good image for our country. We'll become a laughing stock. I've seen social media posts where people are making comments that Mr. XXX, with so reputation, has gotten this position in Nigeria and all that. It doesn't speak word for the young people at all.
So thank you.
But in a nutshell, the courts are there to actually to give verdict to this.
Okay, sir. We really like the fact that you've given us your views on these issues, and let's push you further. There are speculations in the news that the president-elect is trying to influence the outcome of the elections at the National Assembly, where you have the Senate president and at the lower chambers also. Do you think, as a president-elect, maybe he's doing that out of the will to work with people who he knows or who he trusts or who he believes that would align into his vision for what he has for Nigeria? And do you think it is right for a president-elect? It's politics though, but is it right for him to want to wade into the affairs of the Senate House and the lower house? Will you justify his actions if the speculations are true?
Okay, so this is very funny because the separation of powers, I don't know if you're aware of the principle
yes,
of
principle of
power.
Yes.
The legislative arm is different. It's independent of the judicial
yes.
and also
the executive. Yes.
So, the three are supposed to checkmate
each other, checks and balances.
So But having said that, that's the theory. But the practice of politics in Nigeria that I know of, every president wants to have his people or his name in the names of affairs of the National Assembly. So it's the interest. Whether it's alleged, this is reality. Except you don't be a realist. The fact is, every president wants to influence that. You may not have evidence to that, but if you must work well, then the people share the same ideology with you, share the same principles with you, should be in the hands of affairs of the National Assembly. So it's no news if it's alleged or it's known that the president-elect is trying to influence who becomes the president of the Senate or the Speaker of the House of Representatives. So it's no news. He actually needs his men there. You remember what happened in the first tenure of President Muhammadu Buhari when Kola Saraki was president of the Senate? You know how it was. But I think by the time they came into the second tenure, I'm sure from my own analysis, I'm sure he had a hand in influencing Lawan as the president of the Senate and Femi as the Speaker of the House of Representatives. So this is no news. This is what happens in politics. That shouldn't translate to having people who will not function well as the Speaker or Senate President. Or it's the interest of whoever is coming in to have his men at the National Assembly. And whether you like it or not, that will actually play out. I'm sure it happens in developed democracies too.
All right, so thank you very much for your views on these issues. And finally, not on politics, but a little shift away from politics. There are speculations that there will be subsidy removal, and the civil servants have been added their increment. Do you think that with the increment in salaries, it will serve as a palliative when subsidies are being removed? Just a brief one, just briefly.
Okay, so subsidy. I think President Buhari has mentioned it. I mean, before when he came in, and the three major aspirants, that's Tinubu, Peter Obi, and Atiku. And I'm not sure any of them promised that they were going to return subsidy. So it will be news if any of them remove subsidy, because why are we subsidizing? So, I think at least the radio this month checked, but listening that this is going to be postponed. Something postponed. I'm not really checked, but I think I heard that on the news when I was driving to work today. And so, increasing salary is not palliative enough for subsidy removal. What happens to the market woman? What happens to someone who does not receive salary? What happens to the state government worker if this is true? So,
okay, sir.
Not palliative or enough reason to remove subsidy.
Okay, sir. Sorry.
Remember Shopee? Remember the subsidy removal program of Good Luck, and then the one by the President Muhammadu Buhari. So much money is done in that regard. Okay, sir.
We are delighted to have you on the show. You've given us a very broad perspective on the issues that we have raised today, and we really appreciate your intake or your views on these issues. It has broadened our horizon, and the viewers have also learned and known certain things that they did not know before, and certain views that they did not see. You have enlightened them and given them that perspective. SRTV is glad to have you on our show. We hope to call you back some other time to give us more views on issues, on political issues as they arise in Nigeria. Do have a lovely evening, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
All right, thank you. Okay, viewers, we are short of time and we'll be coming to the end of our show. But before we do that, we'll just take a little brief of all the items that we discussed. We have the biased role of INEC as perceived by the masses, electoral malpractices, accusations of previous drug trafficking, and counter accusations. And SRTV gives you the best, and we continue watching SRTV. Thank you very much.
RTV London, in partnership with NTA TV Enterprise, present the maiden edition of the Nigerian Week in the capital of the